This is Bruno and Faye, welcome back to our channel.
For those of you who watched our last week's video or who follow our Instagrams, you know we have recently went to Portugal and it was an amazing trip, and a lot of people have reached out to us asking how we actually managed to travel internationally during the current pandemic.
Magic.
So we thought we're gonna record the special video just going over the details, even though it's not our usual content, but there's a lot of interest, so we thought we'd help out. So hang in with us. If you're here for the skating part, as always, just skip a little bit towards the ending of the video and it's all gonna be there.
Before we start the video, just make sure you subscribe, press the like button, press the bell button, pretty much just do everything.
Obviously, since the COVID has hit, traveling has become quite a bit more complicated, but not impossible. With the current situation, you can't just buy a ticket, hop on the plane and go anymore. It requires a little bit more preparation than before. However, it's nothing too complicated and nothing too difficult to do. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta check out your destination and see if it actually allows travelers from your country. In our case, we traveled to Portugal from the United States and then back to the United States from Portugal. Portugal currently does not allow travelers from the United States. However, in our case, Bruno has a Portuguese passport and I was able to travel with my American passport as his family member. So make sure you check your destination and see what the requirements are. See if you can actually go, and then see what exactly you would need to do to prepare for travel. Our travel happened in August 2020, in case you're watching this video a little later.
Just in case the virus lasts until 2022.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
And at that time, to travel to European Union, you would need to have a negative result in a COVID test that is taken not more than 72 hours before your trip. Now, there's a bit of a catch. It probably differs from state to state, but generally public testing facilities right now don't process the COVID tests this fast. So we really had to look around for different clinics and different options to actually find a place that can do a COVID test within 72 hours. But if you really look in your area, it's possible to find generally.
Took us a while to find a correct place to do the test just in time.
Once you're done with all your pre-flight preparations, you gotta make sure that you're ready to take the actual flight. There are a few extra things that you really need to think about bringing with you on board these days. Number one is definitely a nice, comfy, breathable mask. Really make sure that the mask you're wearing for your flight is the most comfortable one that you can possibly get, because you'll be wearing it for the entire flight. From the moment you step into the airport and up until the moment that you leave the airport, you're not allowed to take off your mask.
For us, it was like 12 hours straight with a mask on.
Yeah, so depending on your flight, plan for wearing your mask for quite a bit. It's generally recommended, if you're wearing a surgical mask, to change them every 4 hours. So if your flight is longer than that, be prepared and make sure you bring multiple so you can change them up during the flight. Another thing that's pretty basic, but we don't often think about it, is to make sure to bring a pen with you on the plane. Both our flights to Portugal and back to the US required for all the passengers to fill out a health form that gathers information on when you're coming from and where you're going in case somebody on board of the plane gets sick. Additionally, after you're done with the flight, some countries may require that you quarantine yourself. For us, when we went to Portugal, we weren't required to do anything else as soon as we exited the airport because we had the negative COVID test. On the way back to the US, however, US required that we self-quarantined after arrival for at least 14 days. Other than these little extra preparations, the travel experience felt pretty normal actually. We didn't feel like the flights were much emptier than normal or much different than usual other than the masks.
The airports were pretty empty actually.
A little bit, yeah, there are a little bit less people than you would normally expect. We generally tend to travel a lot for work, so we have a lot to compare to.
If you travel now, there's no lines at all. Doing TSA. TSA is like 2 minutes.
No need for pre-check, no need for
No.
global entry. We expected our flights to be quite empty due to social distancing rules and all of that, but actually we had people sitting right next to us on our flight to Portugal and it was pretty full. The one back to the US was a little better. I felt like there was a bit of social distancing going on and we had a row to ourselves.
Social distancing, like 2 feet from each other.
Yeah. But it's already been over 2 weeks since our travel and we have not been contacted, which means nobody on either of our flights got sick. So in our experience, pretty safe-ish as far as pandemics go. In Portugal itself, life also feels fairly normal. We don't see even many people with masks outside. If you go to a restaurant or something, some kind of enclosed space, you would be required to wear a mask for as long as you're inside. But the second you leave a place, it's pretty much business as usual.
Pretty much just walk to the table, to be honest, with a mask.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get to the table, you don't need the mask anymore.
Well, yeah, you can't really eat with it anyway. We got quite a bit of experience on that. We managed to enjoy our vacation despite everything. We went to restaurants, we went sightseeing, we went to the nature and experienced some nice swims, waterfalls, beach without any problem. And we even took Bruno's family skating for the first time. They've never skated before. Let's just say skating is not really something apparently Portuguese people like to do very much. If you watched our last week's video, it was quite an adventure to actually find an ice ring. It took us more than one try.
Huge adventure.
If not, make sure to check it out. So Bruno's family didn't actually have any experience whatsoever with skating, and they were super excited to join us on this little adventure and try it out and learn, and we had a lot of fun with that. we got for you this week. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was some useful information. A little bit of skating as always.
So, see you next Thursday.
See you next week.